Which job is a lot less fun than most people expect? Preschool teacher. Especially with new COVID-19 regulations. Ever try social distancing 3-year-olds? Oh my gosh. Build-A-Bear. Weirdest and most frustrating thing. Granted, I didn't make it a super long time in the job and seeing kids so happy is great. But they are really strict and the bad times get pretty bad. I'm a forensic scientist and it's literally the only thing people ask me about on dating apps. It's very technical work and it's extremely routine. Professional photographer. Not like hobbyist, but business-owning photographer. Sucks the love right out of your work. Because you started the business to take pictures. Then Karen doesn't like the way she looks in one of them, so she wants the whole set for free plus a reshoot for free plus those images for free. Then the 2 high school kids getting into a very ill-advised marriage at exactly 18 years old wants to book you for their wedding, but their budget is only $50. Then Karen calls back because she loves your work and wants to pay for another shoot. But only if you agree to do her friend's daughter's destination wedding for free. Then you get a call from your last bride. It's been 2 weeks since their wedding. Where the fuck are her pictures? Then you get no leads from a bridal expo. Then a client finds out you don't support their candidate and tries to take you to court to get her money back. Then some Insta thought who thinks she's influencing people offers a collab, where you take pro photos of her and she adds shitty Insta filters to it and claims her friend took them. And she's not gonna pay. And then you get some entitled mom who wants you to photograph every day of her newborn's first year of life for $100. I went back to being a hobbyist. Barnes & Noble. Your job has literally nothing to do with books and it obviously attracts a lot of that type. Myself included. Park ranger. Don't get me wrong. I loved it. But a lot of days it was less. Talk about cool animals while wearing your ranger hat. And more, the toilets are overflowing again. Go clean the septic tank filter and stir the tank with a shovel. With a little bit of, hey, there's a methed out guy down by the bridge, can you convince him to leave without killing anyone? All for the low price of $26,000 per year with a college degree. Edit so more people will see this. I hate the idea that this comment might dissuade anybody from becoming a park ranger. These jobs are so varied. And I just happen to work for an underfunded agency with too few staff. Honestly, I still loved this job and would have kept doing it forever if a higher paying outdoor environmental job hadn't pretty much fallen into my lap. Being a park ranger taught me so much, and most importantly, I got trained as a wildland firefighter, which is still my favorite part of my job. If you've always dreamed of being a park ranger, please go for it. I do closed captioning. While I joke that yes, I get paid to watch TV. It's actually very tedious, and if you don't actually enjoy the programming, you're being forced to watch something you don't care for. Or worse, if it's something I do enjoy like a long-form drama. We usually chop those up into 15-minute increments and split between everyone, so I only see chunks and not always even in order. It actually ruins the show for me. Edit. Wow. For a thread about my job not being fun. Did not expect the response for interested parties. To summarize the questions, anyone who knows proper grammar and spelling can pretty much work the technical side of closed captioning. For live writing, you have to be a stenographer, which you need to train for with an associate's degree. If you're looking to do side transcription work, I'd recommend ordering a foot pedal online and looking into freelance sites such as Rev and Upwork. Working in a flower shop. It's just like any other retail job. But people constantly tell you how fun your job must be. Also, helping grieving families chose funeral flowers is not fun. I'm a marine biologist. I spent the last week measuring defrosted fish heads. Well, I'm a scientist. I don't know if people usually think of that career as fun. But I think people think it's a lot more. Eureka. And a lot less. This data has to be manually processed for 600 hours before I can analyze it. Not a specific job, but traveling for work. I'm in tech, and a lot of people starting out talk about wanting to go to customer sites and get out in the field. I love to travel for fun, but it's hard to fit in the fun stuff when you have presentations and stuff to worry about, and a lot of times your customers aren't in the fun cities anyway. I also think I prefer the stability and day-to-day schedule of traveling less frequently. TV, film production. I think most people dream of being the actor, the director, the people making the creative decisions, or the big shot producer calling the shots. But most of the people working in TV and film production are part of a machine. The grind. Working in a system, trying to climb up to wherever they want to be. Many don't get to actualize their creative vision. Also, the industry can be project-based. Job security concerns, and location limited. NY, LA. Maybe other cities. Pay can be low starting out too. Though it can be good if you work way up. But I did enjoy the type of people that work these jobs. A little more fun than the business folk I work with now. Edit. Just want to note I have a lot of respect for the TV film industry. I would go back to it, but I would be careful about what the job and career path was. A pediatric nurse. Being a nurse for children and adolescents, everyone in nursing school talks about how much they want to work with kids. The reality is that a pediatric nurse sees more cases of abuse and neglect than any other specialty. Doesn't matter where you are in a pediatric hospital. It's the thing you see most. I've seen so many DCS. Department of Child Services. Caseworkers that I've gotten to know some of them and became acquaintances with them. Sure, working with children and adolescents is great. But people don't think about the most essential piece of that puzzle, which is their families. It doesn't matter how good of care you give to those kids. If you don't loop the parents into that care, you may as well just not be doing anything for them. Video editor. The more I do it, the more I can't be arsed. Although not necessarily bad. Beekeeping. Get used to the constant sound of buzzing during hive inspections, swarm removals, plus wearing the protective suit in hot-ass weather for hours on end. Give or take the situation. Also, there appears to be a large number of beekeepers allergic to bees, so EpiPens are a must. I always say the more fun it is to go somewhere, the worse it is to work there, like amusement parks and arcades. Baker. Coming into work at 3/4 am so you can have a 6 am baked goods is miserable. Demolition. Everyone wants to break shit with a sledgehammer. Everyone is tired of lifting that sledgehammer by 5 swings. Nobody wants to load the broken stuff into bags or a wheelbarrow and take it to the dumpster. Video game testing. I've been working in the game industry for 6 years now. And teaching for 2. Testing video games is thought to be just. Oh, you just play games all day? LOLOLOLOL. But it's actually very specific and arduous. First of all, there are a bunch of testing methodologies such as load, soak testing, white room testing, version testing, to name a few. But the most common one is functionality testing. Functionality testing is, so if I walk into that corner with the shotgun in my inventory, I can clip through the wall. But if I have my M16 in my inventory, I don't clip through. Paleontologist. You don't get to work with full dinosaur skeletons and do all kinds of awesome expeditions. You're mostly sitting at a desk looking at some pictures and logging stuff in your computer. Maybe examining a fossil occasionally. If you're lucky, you can go on a real dig. And OMG, spend hours in the hot sun dusting off rocks. Working in an animal shelter. For sure, it's probably less intense than zookeeping. But the amount of people who apply or volunteer expecting to come in and play with cute puppies all day is absurd. We're basically animal maids. You deal with animals of all sorts of behavioral and developmental stages, shitting and pissing every fucking where, and then you look over and this fucking dog named Chumbawamba swimming in his water bowl, so you gotta fill that up 6 times and dry his kennel out, and then you go and mop up the cat room, around 10 kittens who want to eat your mop, and also 4 children who are all yelling that there's puke in the floor and I must clean it. Now, not to mention all the extra behind the scenes work that the public never sees. How in the summer, during kitten and puppy season, the shelter built to house 500 max has 750, and I didn't take a lunch or sit at all for any of my shifts for the past 6 days. How the courts force us to put down animals that we know can be rehabilitated, but we don't get enough funding to fight it. How animal control just showed up with the 4th pregnant stray of the week, but intake is full and even double stacked in some cases. So your coworker fosters the cats on her own. Not even to mention the shitty fucking people who do dumb shit and end up getting bit or scratched, and the animal is the one who bears those consequences. I am the proudest shelter worker in the world. I adore my job, even at its hardest. I didn't sit for 9.5 hours today, and I found a cat turd in the cuff of my jeans, but it doesn't matter because a bonded pair of adult cats got adopted today. I took 6 applications this morning, and the cat in bank 4 with the goopy eye is already looking better. And we sent a mama out to foster. The hard work is always worth it for these babies. Acting. All the ones we see on TV and movies are the zero. 0.0001% of incredibly lucky and talented people who manage to thrive in a hostile and overcrowded industry. And even when you are working, the actual job itself is 99% sitting on Apple crate in hot makeup waiting for some grips to move a lighting fixture. Then you say 3 lines over and over again for an hour. And then you wrap.